Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. So we would like to start. So this is a hybrid event, both physical here at KICC and live on social media, Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to the CAM Job Summit focusing on TVET. CAM is the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and we are here this morning alongside the Manufacturing Summit and Expo, having our Job Summit, the third that we've had in the last 4 years, except the year of COVID. We gather here for discussions on jobs, job opportunities in the country, skills development, and just how to navigate the world of work. So welcome this morning. And we are so glad to have you here. We have also our partners, GIZ, that has worked with us this journey of skills development, technical skills development. We have the main industry players, our employers, members of CAM, who are also very strong participants in the creation of jobs agenda. We have the technical colleges that are also working strongly with us as strong partners in skills development and aligning the young people into the jobs that they want, jobs that they have trained for, and also supporting them to be highly productive in the workplace. This morning we shall be discussing, besides the opportunities that are there, with the two sectors specifically, looking at the steel and metal sector, as well as the automotive sector, just as an example, but there are many sectors, and we'll be doing a sector deep dive later and sharing where the job opportunities are. Those who have been following us for the last 2 weeks, we have just launched an ambitious vision called Manufacturing 20 by 30, where we are committing to contribute to 20% of GDP by the year 2030. The bigger agenda there actually is job creation. And we have 14 sectors, serious deep dives that have demonstrated there are so many jobs along the value chain as we grow the economy. So that will be one of the bigger opportunities and benefits to our young people. So this morning we would like to focus on automotive and the steel sector in terms of opportunities along the value chain, the skill requirements, as well as what we see in the near future of how the world of work will change. We also have a young entrepreneur and also someone who's joined employment recently, who will be talking to us as an example of a case study of her story, and also somebody employed in the timber sector. Thereafter, we will also have the St. Kizito principal, who will be speaking to us about what they do to prepare young people for the world of work. My name is Joyce Njogu. I'll be the moderator for this panel session. I'm the head of consulting and business development at the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. After the first panel session, we'll then have the head of cooperation, German Embassy, Mr. Daniel Guenther, who will be speaking on behalf of the Federal Republic of Germany to Kenya, speaking about supporting private sector for sustainable skills development and jobs. We'll also have the CEO of Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Mr. Anthony Mwangi, making a few remarks on the CAM agenda on job creation. Also, next will be the chairman, Mr. Rajan Shah, who will be speaking also about the role of CAM in the jobs creation agenda. Thereafter, we are lucky to be joined by 3 ministries who care about the young people in this country. They care about economic growth in this country. And the first will be the Ministry of Education, that are heavily involved in skills development. They'll be speaking to us about aligning training with industry needs for increased employability. People should be employable, young and old. They should be employable. We'll be listening to the Ministry of Education and their support towards that agenda. Next, we shall be having the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, also talking about matching labor demand and supply for sustainable jobs. And then finally, we'll have the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports, and the Arts, talking about engaging the youth meaningfully for jobs and entrepreneurship. So we have a very strong partners, a demonstration of public-private partnership in building skills for high economic growth in this country. We believe as a country we are prepared for high growth, and one of the key components is having people who can do the jobs well and supply the markets with good solutions that are adding value to their quality of life. Thereafter, we'll do a tour of the exhibition. We have made in Kenya products outside. We would like you to see the high quality of products there and relate it to how work looks like, the future of work, the kind of products we will be making and marketing for Kenyans to enjoy a good quality of life. So that's the connection for today, and we would like to start. I'm calling upon the trainee from PG Bison to come to the front. The PG Bison trainee to come and join us here at the front. So we will start very quickly, and the main topic for the panel session is addressing youth unemployment through discussion on job opportunities in industry. In Kenya, we all say there's very high unemployment, up to about 40%. And again, employers are saying there's no talent in the market. So you can just see there's actually, from the employer side, there are jobs. From the young people, there are no jobs. How can we match this conversation and start building a dialogue and a form of cooperation that is well informed? People are trained in areas that there are jobs, and they are able to identify those job opportunities. So this is one of the many series of conversations that we have to help young people. With us, we have two young people who have benefited from these collaborations, and they are well placed in the jobs market without struggling. And that is possible. That's the story they'll be giving us this morning. I'll start with Augustine Mipalia, HR Manager at Tononoka Steel Industries, to give us in 5 minutes a scenario of the sector's situation in terms of the skills needs and the opportunities that there are today, and what he sees in the future, about 3 to 5 years in the world of work. Asante. Please, Augustine, in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you for the opportunity the Kenya Association of Manufacturers has created. Actually, with us, we have highly benefited as a company. We have highly benefited from your forums and the conversation we have had. First and foremost, when we had our forum, where you engaged the employers, and we were able to link and have a linkage with the various industries, including various trainers, like in our part we had St. Kizito, because we used to have a really difficult in identifying the mismatch of skills. There is highly mismatch of skills from the high training institutions. So when the VET program came with the SPED programs, we, through you, we identified St. Kizito through a meeting. We sent information, and from those that are actually undergoing attachment, those are the ones we pick, because they know our model, they know machines, they know machine work. You will not highly struggle. That is what we highly encourage you, and thank you, KM, for what you have done. If you can partner this with the other, if we can have this frequent, actually the employers will not be crying the mismatch of skills. This is a tailor-made program that we have gained from you.
Thank you so much, Augustine. Yeah. I'll now invite Mercy Washera, HR Manager, BMG Holdings, its automotive sector. Just tell us, for example, what jobs are there in the automotive sector currently, and what kind of skills do these jobs hold, or the job holders, what skills do they have, and how do you see those skill needs changing over time? Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for coming. This is a very positive engagement. But I do not want to repeat what my colleague has said, but in the automotive sector, specifically in the motorcycle industry, the gaps, or rather the job opportunities that are there, are in assembly, repair works, development of electric motorcycles. We currently don't have technicians in Kenya who can repair electric motorcycles. We have to outsource from other countries. We also don't have technicians in Kenya who can repair or assemble sport bikes. So what we've done as a company, we take students under the TVET program from schools like St. Kizito, and we train them ourselves from scratch. So if you guys can go to school and learn about that, we are working on a curriculum together with GIZ and CAM, whereby students can be trained on those things at school, because most of them come to us with mechanical engineering qualifications and all that, which those are good courses, but the job opportunities in those industries are limited. But there are 300,000 motorcycles in Kenya. So you can imagine that's endless employment opportunities, yeah? So other than having the correct technical skills, you need to have some values as a person to be employable and to also grow in your career. Such values are things like integrity, passion, sincerity, and self-awareness, okay? Because we find that you'll have qualified students with all the papers and all the skills that you require, but they lack integrity. You can't do anything in life without integrity. So if you want to develop your education, also develop your own self with your core values so that you go far in this industry. Because some of us, we started from very, like internships and all that. But in the last 5 years, we have grown to where we are because of those values. Because at the job, you will be trained. You'll be taught what to do, but you cannot be taught your core values. So you have to come with those intact and already within yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mercy. Next, I'll invite Aluzimbi from PG Bison, a young trainee there, to just give us her story of how she got the job and how she's being supported at PG Bison. How is that working for her, Aluzimbi?
Good morning. Actually, Aluzimbi Medad, undertaken plant operation, a TVET initiated course, plant operation. And when I joined PG Bison, since I took a TVET initiated course, CAM came. It is a honor because through CAM, as Mercy has said, it taught us through the work readiness training, it taught us how to acquire the core values of integrity, self-awareness, how we should better our professionalism through the training. Then it also acted as a bridge to join us through. And for me, I can say CAM is a blessing in disguise. And I'm really honored to be part and family of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, I'll invite Esther Gitari, who has a journey to share from learning in the school to being an entrepreneur and back to employment. Welcome, Esther.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Esther Gitari, like she said. So here, today I'm here to share my journey. First of all, I must say that I want to thank CAM, Kenya Association of Manufacturers, because through them I got my first employment. So I am a former student of Nairobi Technical Training Institute, where I took mechanical engineering, plant option. After that, I did an email to CAM and told them that I need a placement for an internship. And they gave me an internship to Tropical Heads. I only did 2 months of internship, and then I was recruited as an employee. I was there for 1 year and 11 months, almost 2 years. And from that experience, I have shifted from jobs. And I can say that the skills that I got from there have really helped me. Currently, I'm working with Kenya Breweries as a technical operator. It has been a journey. So what I would like to urge everyone of you, the young people that are here, it's about putting yourself out there. Because if you don't put yourself out there, no one is going to notice you. Most of us complain that we're not getting jobs or we don't have jobs. I know of a number of people who were called by CAM to go and probably start an internship somewhere, and they refused to go, saying that, probably whatever amount of money I'm getting there, it's not enough to sustain me, blah, blah, blah. But it's what that is going to put you out there. So I'm so grateful to CAM, and my urge to the young people, put yourselves out there. There are so many platforms that you can put yourself out there. There's LinkedIn. I feel on LinkedIn there are so many jobs out there, and I don't know why people are not applying for those jobs. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Esther. We also have the CAM job site where we post jobs there, and we ask you to post your CVs there so that you can be linked and an employer can track you and take you in either for internship or for jobs. Thank you so much. I'd like to now invite Giuseppe, Principal, St. Kizito. He told me he had a speech for 15 minutes. And I'm asking him to try and make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes and just share what they're doing at St. Kizito in terms of preparing young people for work, and also the kind of partners you have in employers that are supporting you, and specifically which skills are in high demand. Where are these job opportunities which you're advising young people to prepare for? Thank you so much. Giuseppe.
So thank you. I was asked to speak about hope, and my friend here told me that a very interesting thing, that hope without works, without data, is something not very useful. So I will tell you about how in San Kizito vocational training we try to give hope to our students. Now, I will mention a few things, few elements, because I could talk a lot, but I don't want. Now, first of all, TVET. TVET is very important. It's not my opinion. It's what the Ministry of Education is telling us, even the Ministry of Labor. Okay, I'm an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm very proud to be an engineer, whatever. But nowadays, the country needs people trained practically in institutions like ours. I'm not saying that San Kizito is the only one in Kenya. Luckily enough, no, there are very many. So this is the first thing I want to tell you. Then, second, we have something like 800 students every year present in the school. 50% are ladies, okay? And now we don't teach only hairdressing. You see now, with me they didn't have many opportunities, but anyway, we teach automotive, welding, electrical, electronics, solar energy, carpentry, what did I forget? Plumbing. So 50%, okay, we teach also hairdressing and catering, but the percentage also in technical issues, in technical courses, of the percentage of girls is very high. So this is a message of hope I want to give all the young people who are listening to us. Third, I'm number 3. The relationship with companies. Okay, first of all the members, all the representatives here are our partners. So we actually, I made a short account of how many companies we were partnering is more than 70.
Wow.
Yes,
congratulations, a big hand clap for him.
Yes.
70 companies are working
Yes,
with St. Kizito.
because the future is not to be trained only in the TVET, but to have this partnership. Okay, German people, GIZ, who is also our partner, always speaks about dual training. The government is speaking about competency-based education training, CBET. This is the way of going on in a training that can answer the needs of industry. So what is dual training? Dual training is an alternate presence of the students in the school for theory and practical in laboratory, and the presence in the companies. This is what we are trying to do. We have this year more than 200 students in this dual training, because not all the courses actually have in San Kizito the dual training. Another thing I want to say, I think is the last, is what kind of um, of, courses. Now, I must say, and this is a message that I will give also to the Ministry of Education, please let us go on with CBET, CEDAC training. The modules are 3 months in the school, 3 months in the company. But these are modules that can be advanced. They have numbers, but that is not very important. What I would like, since I know that there is a revision with the new government of this scheme of training, I really, as a school with experience, because we have been the first school in 2020, we started.
Maybe I could just ask you to hold us just a
Yeah.
minute to allow our guests to pause and sit. Just a few minutes. We can go on, Giuseppe. Thank you.
So I was saying that I'm really promoting the CEDAC training, the CEDAC training with modules of 3 months in the school, theory and practice in laboratories, and 3 months in the companies. Okay, I stop here.
Thank you. We wish to acknowledge the presence of Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Arts. Welcome. Thank you so much. We also want to acknowledge the President of the Chairman, Mr. Rajan Shah, Kenya Association of Manufacturers. We also want to appreciate the presence of NITA, representing Ministry of Labor, DG. Thank you so much for coming. We also have John Tuwei with us in the room, representing Ministry of Education, and also Mr. Daniel Guenther, representing the Embassy of Germany to Kenya. Welcome. We've started the session here where we started the panel of employers, young entrepreneurs, as well as the technical colleges. We're in the last section. I also want to appreciate our board directors. We have Mr. Pankaj Shah, who is passionate about skills development and leading the Business Competitiveness Services Committee of the board that is hosting this event. I also want to recognize the CEO of CAM, Mr. Anthony Mwangi. Thank you so much. So we'll now go to the questions from those who are online. We are having this event as a hybrid. So we have over 60 who are joining us virtually from different parts of the country, and those who are here physically. And as part of being here physically is also to see what is made in Kenya, so that as we talk about skills and jobs, we can see with our own eyes what these jobs are about from the manufacturing sector, what kind of products they make, and how else meet the employers here and their products and services, so that you can enjoy learning about the world of work and what it's all about in terms of creating good quality products to improve Kenya. Mbi, who has spoken about her journey of how CAM has linked her with jobs. And finally, Giuseppe, Principal St. Kizito, who has told us about the 70 employers that they have in partnership, training specifically for direct jobs. This session was looking at addressing youth unemployment, where we have statistics saying we have about 40% of young people not employed, and at the same time discussing job opportunities in industry, where the employers are saying they can't find talent. So that mismatch is what we are trying to address. Why are employers saying they can't find talent, they have jobs, and why are the young people saying there are no jobs? So what's the missing link there? That's what we've been addressing this morning in this panel. These conversations are ongoing, they don't end today. So today we just wanted to highlight a few of the issues that are affecting young people from accessing the right jobs at the right time, and employers also how they can access.
Santosano, thank you very much for the kind introduction. Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and Arts, Honorable Ababu Namwamba, representatives of the Cabinet Secretary of Ministry of Education and representative of the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, CAM directors, CEO, sector and regional leadership members, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. Kenya and Germany look back on a long-standing partnership based on mutual respect and trust, with development cooperation as a core element. One of our key priorities in this partnership is to increase job opportunities for youth here in Kenya, together with our Kenyan partners, especially for young people. The private sector is a driving force to achieve this goal. We, as German Development Corporation, are firmly convinced that only through sound vocational training and favorable framework conditions for small and medium-sized enterprises, economic growth can be achieved that will bring young people into employment. Germany is making a significant contribution to this. We're the biggest donor in the area of TVET to Kenya. Our youth employment initiatives are delivered through our implementing organizations. GIZ has been mentioned, but also German Development Bank, KfW, who support the Kenyan government and the Kenyan people in promoting youth employability. We apply an integrated approach to employment promotion through demand-driven skills development, capacity development of small and medium-sized enterprises, and matching services of trainees and enterprises. We also improve the framework conditions for employment promotion through digitalization and trade. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the challenges highlighted by private sector players within the Kenyan labor market has been the skills mismatch, the growing inconsistency between the skills that are on demand by employers and the skills that are possessed by graduates leaving training institutions. The Kenyan government is responding to this challenge through the numerous reforms in the vocational training sector, including, for example, the introduction of competency-based education and training. Additionally, the stronger involvement of the private sector in the design and implementation of TVET programs is another integral reform the government of Kenya has adopted. However, at the same time, we must also see that the private sector has a responsibility. Of course, we need well-educated young people and well-equipped training institutes. But we also need responsible companies that see themselves as part of the training process. Only when companies give people the opportunity to learn with them can we succeed in bringing well-trained people into the labor market. Ladies and gentlemen, for over 100 years, Germany has firmly delivered the dual training system that encouraged cooperation between public-funded vocational schools on the one hand and private companies. This model of training provides young people with skills for nationally recognized occupations. Our expertise at Germany in technical vocational education and training, short TVET, has been shared with Kenya, visible in the piloting and now in the scale-up of cooperative dual vocational training institutes. The advantage of the system is that our young people receive training that is standardized on the one hand and clearly oriented towards the needs of industry on the other. Through this close partnership between the training institutions and the private sector, we have succeeded time and again in aligning training with the needs of industries and at the same time creating jobs that provide fair pay and good work. Our program, Youth Employment and Vocational Training here in Kenya, is currently supporting the upgrade of 7 national training institutes into centers of excellence for the implementation of this dual TVET model. We have supported these 7 technical training institutions in their growth into centers of excellence. Our support has included significant financial support and infrastructure and equipment, the development of training curricula in close cooperation with the industry, capacity building and exchange programs for trainers, development of strategic business plans, and a draft policy that provides a guiding framework in how training institutions can cooperate with companies to equip the youth with skills. Through these projects in our partnership, we've been able to contribute in recent years to the training of around 60,000 young people here in Kenya through different training courses, creating more than 30,000 new jobs and helping more than 26,000 small enterprises to expand this business or their businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, Germany is committed to being a strong and reliable partner to Kenya. We are convinced that our focus on youth employment as one of our 3 pillars of cooperation besides energy and agriculture is the right one. So I thank you for inviting me here today to this very important occasion. I congratulate you on focusing on this very important topic as the Kenyan private sector, but also involving the government. And I'm very much looking forward to continuing our partnership to the benefit of both of our countries. So thank you very much, Asanteni Sana, and looking forward to the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Gwentha. Thank you for the remarks from the German government, and we appreciate the partnership. I'd like at this point to invite the CAMP Chief Executive, Mr. Anthony Mwangi, to give remarks. Thank you.
Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Arts, Honorable Ababu Namwamba, Mr. Daniel, I'm unable to pronounce the second name, the German name, Head of Development Cooperation at the German Embassy, KM Board, represented by the Chairman, DG Nita, Raymond, Secretary, Youth Affairs, all government, senior government officials here, distinguished guests, people who are watching us online. Good morning. Can be better than that. Good morning. Very good. So first of all, Bonas Waziri, let me congratulate you for a well-deserved appointment. I think they looked at the age, the intellect, and the gait. I'm trying also to do better. And I think it could not have been a better appointment. So we congratulate you. Secondly, I want to thank you for joining us today. We're very honored to have you. You know you have huge demands on your time, but you join us today. I will be brief because there are several people who will speak, and I don't want to take much of your time. But suffice to say that we are faced with a monumental challenge, which is also an opportunity. Every year, we have almost 1 million people who join the job market, whether they drop off at elementary school, whether they drop off at primary school, high school, secondary school, they join the job market either way. Waziri, the mandate that you have is monumental, because if you look at the cumulative, the people who have been joining the job market for the last, even if you just take 10 years, they are in excess of 10 million who are looking for something meaningful today. But with partners like KIM and others, and GIZ, and the Federal Republic of Germany, you have partners who can help you start dealing with this challenge that we can even say has not been mainstreamed for a long while. I like what you said on Monday, that you're operating outside the box. You have actually banned the box. There is no box that you're dealing with. And we'll tell you also, Waziri, that under the leadership of Honorable Moses Kuria, he has also told us to throw away the boxes. Now we're looking at moving from 7.2% manufacturing contribution to GDP to 20%. If you look at that growth, it's like here, it is 3x. But what does that mean for the access to raw materials? Kenya is an 8, which means it things that Bangladesh does. And it's not rocket science. We can do that. So we can go on and on and on in many over almost 100 value chains. And you can see in automotive industry, for instance, Waziri, the unlocking, and we can even go back to 2008, when the former president, God bless his soul, President Kibaki, and his government reduced the duty for motorcycles. Was it you come from Western? And you can see the explosion of boda boda across the country, not just Busia. That's what we need to do for 5, 10, 20 value chains. And we transform this country. Waziri, we want to say that we are ready to work with you. We are talking about manufacturing 20 by 30. There are areas that we're focusing on, the chairman will be mentioning, but we know it is doable. In any case, if it's not doable, if you don't do it, who will? That's a question I keep on asking my team. If we are not the people to transform, then who will? Is there anybody else we're waiting from, anywhere place, to come and transform? We're here with our partners, and we need to bring more partners on board, but we can transform this country. Thank you very much. Waziri, Honorable Babu, Tofik, Pius, Namwamba. So I want to invite now the chairman of KM board to make his remarks. Chairman.
Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and Arts, Honorable Ababu Namwamba. Our friend from the German embassy, Daniel Gunther. I hope I've pronounced it well. Our representatives from GIZ, representatives from various technical institutions, our CAM board members present, and our CEO, CAM members, sponsors, exhibitors, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great pleasure to see you all here as we engage today on the topic of youth employment and skill development. Your Waziri, when we were just engaging before we came here, and we discussed that we have a huge resource, which is our 5 million youth. And that's a resource that I believe as a country we need to tap and we need to convert into something productive. So we have to start to see this as a good resource rather than as a problem. And we discussed on various things which I'm going to mention. Human capital development has been described as a main harbinger of the future workplace. More so, education, vocational training, and lifelong learning are central pillars of employability of the workers and sustainable enterprise development within the Sustainable Development Goals, goal number 9, on decent work and economic growth. Skill development stimulates the creation of sustainable development process and can contribute to the transition from the informal to the formal economy. Further, skills are essential to address the opportunities and the challenges to meet new demands of changing economies and new technologies in the current context of globalization. Many leading economies are transitioning towards putting more investments in the potential of their workers. Further, the industry's demand of skilled labor and for goods and services that meet international standards is increasing, Kenya included. The government, through Vision 2030, outlines education and training as the vehicle that will drive Kenya into becoming a middle-income economy. In addition, the session paper number 1 of 2005 on policy framework for education, training and research, and the legislative framework aims to achieve the human capital development needs of the country towards sustainable economic growth and development. The Sustainable Development Goal number 8 and 9 on good jobs and economic growth, innovation, and infrastructure also seek to achieve higher levels of economic productivity and sustainable industrialization through diversity and inclusivity and technological upgrades and innovation. Structured agreements between industry and education institutions to cooperate in terms of practical training should benefit, on one side, education institutions to offer skills relevant to the labor market, and on the other side, the industry gaining skilled manpower. Kenya Association of Manufacturers has been very keen on addressing the skill gap in Kenya, especially in the manufacturing sector. The skills gap has partly been as a result of training that does not meet the needs of the industry, and the lack of centralized labor market information that makes it easier for job seeker and the employer. Waziri, we spoke about the need to see how we can create the job centers across the country, to see how we can actually profile these youths who are looking for employment so that we can assess the skills, and then see how we can link these skills with the industries, and it cuts across all the wider sectors of agriculture, industry, and many others, which then will give an opportunity for this youth to see which of these opportunities are what they would like to participate in. We look forward to further engagements towards this development of job hubs to create these linkages. To make this dream a reality, CAM has partnered with the German Development Corporation to implement the TVET project, whose major goal is improving access to technical jobs and economic opportunities for the youth in Kenya. This calls for the commitment of all stakeholders, including TVET institutions, government, private sector players, and the industries, to promote skill-based job creation agenda and consequently promote industrialization in Kenya. As I conclude, the involvement of the industry in promoting human capital development is a sure way to ensure the future of this country by guaranteeing long-term productivity through access to skills and economic sustainability and inclusive growth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, CAM Chairperson, Mr. Rajan Shah, for the remarks and the direction that CAM is taking in supporting the young people to get jobs. At this point, I would like to invite Mr. Stephen Ogenga, Director General NITA, speaking for the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection. Mr. Ogenga, we have worked with him for quite a number of years as CAM, and we are quite proud of the partnership that we have with NITA and the Ministry of Labor. Karibu.
The Honorable Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Sports, Arts, Honorable Babu Namwamba, whom I'm proud to say that we had worked very closely with you during the third administration. The Chair CAM, CEO, representative of the German Embassy, GIZ, Ministry of Education, industry leaders, our beneficiaries present today, the youth, both physical and virtual, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, accept apologies from our Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Florence Bore, who was supposed to be with us this morning. And therefore, I'm here on her behalf to deliver a message on this important occasion, which she was honored to be, in which we are driving manufacturing growth through sustainable skills development and jobs. And allow me to go through her remarks very quickly. And she says that this job summit is expected to enhance stronger partnership between our government and calm for competitive manufacturing environment for our projected economic growth. She says that Kenya's manufacturing sector is a key driver for this country's integration into regional and world markets. And this sector is a major source of employment in our areas, both urban and rural, and possesses the substantial backward and forward linkages for the rest of the economy. It is critical in achieving this country's vision of becoming prosperous and globally competitive. Now, focusing on matching labor demand and supply for sustainable jobs, the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection commits its support to the manufacturing sector through several interventions, and this includes promotion of harmonious industrial relations, safety and health in the workplace, employment promotion, industrial training, productivity management, national human resource planning and utilization, registration and regulation of trade unions, and provision of social security. And we want to say that a distinctive feature of the manufacturing sector in Kenya, as you are aware, is the coexistence of modern sector alongside a rapidly expanding informal sector, which constitutes about 80% of the economy of this country. And therefore, we want to say that while the former comprises mainly MSMEs, as you are aware, a new minister has been created, the informal sector largely comprises semi-organized and regulated small-scale activities that allows low-level technologies to employ a number of citizens. A large proportion of our industrial output is therefore directed towards satisfying basic needs, namely the provision of low-income consumer goods and services. In that regard, therefore, we can record that the Kenyan economy contracted by about 0.3% in 2020 because of the pandemic, but now is projected to grow by about 4.7% this year. And you are aware that the Kenya shilling also depreciated by about 7% against the dollar between 2019 and 2021. And this negatively impacted on this manufacturing sector because of our reliance on imported raw materials and intermediate inputs for processing and capital goods for investment. We therefore also note that the Kenya's manufacturing sector increased by about 3.7% in the first quarter of this year. In the corresponding quarter of the previous year, the value added by the industry to the GDP grew by about 2.1%. In general, we are saying that the Kenyan economy has been showing signs of recovery since the easing of the containment of measures during the pandemic. We expect that massive growth is now required for the manufacturing sector. GDP contribution to reach about 15%, as desired under our Vision 2030, on imported raw materials and intermediate input for processing of capital goods for investment. In that regard, therefore, the following should be considered. 1, improvement of regulatory efficiency, promotion of access to quality, affordable, and reliable energy for manufacturing, reduction in transport and logistics to lower the cost of industrial inputs, sustenance of fight against illicit trade and addressing multiple charges that are levied against our beneficiaries, enhancement of local market access while promoting regional market access and diversifying international market access, ensuring certainty and predictability of tax policies to encourage industrial growth, creation of a favorable policy environment for MSMEs to flourish, push for green growth and sustainable development, and embrace pro-industry skills development. In that regard, therefore, in terms of the theme of this meeting, skills development for job creation is one of the key components that will facilitate effective skills development for both formal and informal sectors. In this regard, during the Executive Order number 1 of 2022, you are aware that His Excellency the President created the State Department for Labor and Skills Development, upon which the National Industrial Training Authority falls, and it is mandated therefore to regulate industrial training and supported by TVETs in Kenya to develop work-based schemes, which we expect that this will be able to support the sector-wide industries, and with a lot of support from CAM, who are our host today, supporting our apprenticeship programs, attachment, and quality indentured learnership schemes being on the job training for specific trades within an established legal mandate, written contracts, payments, social protection, and recognized qualifications. And therefore, for the Kenyan manufacturing sector and service industry to remain competitive despite market forces from external partners, we have to be more responsive to the digital and physical markets, as it were, so that the workforce will only be able to be equipped to match these demands of skills and knowledge levels that are required by the technologies in the industries. In this regard, therefore, and in order to ensure quality, relevance, and equity in the accreditation of sector-specific training, the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection has developed the Kenya Labor Market Information Systems to provide the intelligence to match market demands with cadres of graduates from skilling institutions. And therefore, in this regard, it would be important that we recognize that we have formed sector skills councils, which are going to transit to sector skills councils that will be responsible for setting up specific labor market information systems, provide and set up occupational standards, and ensure delivery of assessment and certification by accredited trainers and assessors for the manufacturing sector. Although the manufacturing sector is diversified in terms of activities, including processing of food and other agricultural products, and these still contribute the largest share of manufacturing GDP, followed by textiles and sureware and garments, and the refining of petroleum, both up and downstream. Kenya's manufacturing sector share of GDP is yet to rise to the desired levels, and therefore the manufacturing output potential should lay focus on exploiting value addition of agricultural products, and the manufacturing sector in Kenya being the third largest by sectoral contribution to the GDP, about 10.3%, after transport and communication, respectively. We would expect enhanced discourse between the government and the private sector, particularly through CAM, to raise government interest in addressing problems facing the manufacturing sector. Beyond textile and food processing and metal industries, Kenya has diversified the manufacturing activities through the other sectors, including rubber and plastics, paper and printing, so that this can be fueled by increased demand from the real estate industry. The ministry expects this growth to continue given the many infrastructure projects planned by the government through the 5-pillar plan, and including the real estate and construction sectors, as you are aware, that generally then the Kenyan manufacturing sector will be able to meet these desired items with the investments that take place at the farm and the national levels, and that we would then be able to have an adequate supply of infrastructure and farms that will be forced to be able to rely on the supply of drivers and enablers, including power and security. We therefore, ladies and gentlemen, have to scale up our support to CAM so that they can be able to set up centers of excellences specific to the demanded trade areas that translate to greater productivity. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I therefore believe that sustaining training and industry linkages will transform the manufacturing sector towards our desired economic growth. I take this opportunity to thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. A big hand clap for the DG, Nita. We could clap again. He's assured us a lot about the initiatives they have under the Ministry of Labor, and also informing us of the State Department of Labor and Skills Development, amongst many other initiatives that can support us in our theme of growing manufacturing sector through sustainable skills development and jobs. At this point, I would like to invite Ministry of Education, represented by Mr. John Tuwei, Deputy Director, Technical Education, to also give his remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. The Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and Arts, Honorable Ababu Namwamba, the representation of the CS, Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, represented by Mr. Stephen Ogega, the DG, NITA, the representation of the German Development Corporation, Head of Sustainable Economic Development, Mr. Daniel Gunther, our development partners present, the Chairman, Kenya Association of Manufacturers Board, Rajan Shah, the CEO, Mr. Anthony Mwangi, the directors, CAM, sector and regional leadership, CAM members, the youths present who are the beneficiaries of training and the jobs, esteemed guests, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Honorable CS, allow me to pass my apologies from our CS, who was not able to come because of exigencies of job, and allow me to read his speech. We are very glad to be with CAM. CAM has been our partner. So I'm going to read his speech. Thank you for your invitation to this job summit. I am delighted to represent the Ministry of Education in this summit, whose theme is driving manufacturing growth through sustainable skills development and jobs. This links well with the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 that emphasizes on the need to access to quality education. Quality education is important in delivering equality globally. It is through education that everyone, regardless of socio-economic status, gender, and age, is able to access opportunities for improved livelihood. In Kenya, the Ministry of Education's mandate includes all levels of education, right from early childhood to higher education, including technical and vocational education and training. It also entails curriculum development and management of national examinations, as well as training of teachers and trainers. Furthermore, we offer administration of standards for the delivery of quality training and certification. We acknowledge the critical role that manufacturers play in our economy. In this regard, we encourage Kenya Association of Manufacturers, CAM, to work with the TVET institutions and universities to deliver research-led training programs and courses that support science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and innovation. Industry is always ahead in terms of innovation, and this can be well utilized in training for the future, as well as as Kenya works towards Industry 4.0 and 5.0. On the policy side, while we provide institutional frameworks, we also work with industry to develop various policies. These include the industrial attachment policy, the post-skills training policy, and the cooperative TVET policy, which is currently being developed. We remain committed to working with various stakeholders to develop new policies whilst updating existing ones, as well as seeking to strengthen education and training in line with the future world of work, which is essential in delivering Kenya Vision 2030. Our experience in training shows that it is essential that we work with manufacturers and industry on our training programs. The reason for this is that private and public sector are the biggest consumers of our graduates in both formal and blue collar and white collar jobs and self-employment. Allow me to acknowledge the private sector who constantly engage in the sector specific institution skills advisory committees by providing industry expertise to our training institutions for improved quality of training. For the sustainability of our education, the ministry will continue to work with all stakeholders to link our training to the market needs. This is the only way we can ensure that our training is both competitive and up to date. In this regard, we continue to encourage the manufacturing sector to work with us in training by, one, providing industry personnel to support our training delivery in TVETs and universities, including training with us through apprenticeships and the dual vocational training approach. Secondly, providing industrial attachment and internship opportunities, and thirdly, utilizing our training services to improve productivity in manufacturing. As part of our public-private partnerships, the private sector can also finance national training through Ministry's Skills Development Fund. We will be engaging you on ways that we can improve these to increase access to training by all. In collaboration, together with our counterparts in the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, secondly, together with the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, we will work to streamline employment database with linkage to all cadres of graduates and jobs in markets as is with our mandate. We encourage the Kenya Association of Manufacturers and its members to work with us to improve access to jobs to our graduates and have a good tracking mechanism for this. It is exciting to see Kenya Association of Manufacturers taking the lead in scaling up access to competency-based education and training graduates within its membership. We look forward to playing a central role in industry entrepreneurship linkages under associations TVET, under the Association TVET's Program for Business Development Services. I wish to commend CAM and its members for providing graduates with industrial attachment opportunities and transitioning them into employment. Indeed, your feedback on the rollout of this program is critical in ensuring the improvement of our CBET training. The ministry will continue to oversee and coordinate a harmonious implementation of the competency-based curriculum reforms, which are essential to ensure our graduates are industry-ready and reduce skills mismatch. The lessons from this will see the success and learning extended to university education, as well as we plan to migrate training in our institutions of higher learning towards the competency-based curriculum aspirations. Allow me to say thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. John Tuwei, for the kind remarks and the role of the Ministry of Education in supporting skills development. I wish to invite the CAM chairman to welcome the Cabinet Secretary. And while he goes to the podium, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Raymond Ouma, with whom we have worked closely under the State Department of Youth Affairs and developed a robust MOU of supporting the young people into skills development, entrepreneurship, and innovation. And the rollout started a while back, where we launched the youth policy, which is guiding a lot of the actions that we are working to achieve. Welcome, CAM Chairman, Mr. Rajan Shah.
Thank you. It now remains my honor to invite our Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, Sports and Art, Honorable Ababu Namwamba, to come and address us. Thank you very much.
Asante sana, Bwana Chairman, Mr. Rajan Shah, Chairman of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, together with your team from CAM, including my very good friend, Anthony Mwangi, the CEO. Let me also acknowledge my colleagues from the ministries of Labor and the Ministry of Education, representing my colleague cabinet secretaries. I also recognize with a lot of appreciation the presence of Mr. Daniel Gunther, Head of Development Cooperation at the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany, as well as the members of the Private Sector Alliance who are here and with whom we had a very, very beneficial engagement a couple of days ago. The rest of the development partners here, the TVETs, and our youth participants who are here, participating both physically in this auditorium and those who have joined us virtually online. I'm very pleased to address this extremely important summit on driving manufacturing growth through sustainable skills development and involving our young people. I have no luxury any forum, any summit where we are discussing jobs, entrepreneurship for young people. I have absolutely no luxury. And I have no luxury because no agenda, and I mean this, no agenda is more important to His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto and the government he leads than expanding opportunities for the youth of Kenya. Opportunities, both jobs and entrepreneurship. I want you to know that, young people. The President wants to see more and more job opportunities for you as the youth of this country. But the President also wants to see you in entrepreneurship, doing business, and not just looking for jobs, but also helping in creating jobs. We are gathered at a time when the world is in the middle of a global employment crisis which demands a bold response. This summit therefore provides a platform to strengthen our partnership, synergize and leverage the youth empowerment initiatives that we have.
Kenya is considered to be a very youthful country, with 29% of our population, 13.6 million people, aged between 18 and 34 years. And out of this population, 10.1 million are in the labor force, are they job ready, they are entrepreneurship ready. Notably, Kenya's current economy is unable to create sufficient jobs for the over 800,000 youth who graduate annually from tertiary colleges and our universities. In fact, the statistics do indicate that only about 20% of these 800,000 annual graduates make it into formal employment, leaving 80% to informal employment and other spaces. This crisis has led to the frustration of young people who feel disadvantaged, they feel disillusioned, they feel dispirited, even disenchanted, both economically and socially. And this has led to this country losing some of our young people to crime, as well as drug and substance abuse. To help redress this, we should encourage, educate, and empower young entrepreneurs. We must shift from merely talking about creating jobs to talking about inventing jobs, to talking about entrepreneurship that engages all our young people. With the world more interconnected than ever, we've got unprecedented opportunities to help more people access capital and resources and networks that we all need to succeed. Entrepreneurship is, therefore, a critical solution that can transform the lives of our unemployed young people into major employers. This is how we drive manufacturing growth through sustainable skills development, by finding solutions that create jobs and spark growth. I urge the 250 youth participants in this summit from the TVET institutions to take advantage of targeted interventions by governments such as the Hustler Fund, which His Excellency the President will be launching in about a month's time, to utilize the opportunity to expand your respective MSMEs for job creation. Equally, I call on all partners to support youth entrepreneurship, self-employment, and youth-led business. And I'm really happy that GIZ and the government of Germany has been such a key partner in this space. Thank you very much. I'm therefore pleased that the technical and vocational training TVET program supported by GIZ and implemented by CAM seeks to create a responsive and innovative entrepreneurial ecosystem by linking manufacturers with skilled technical labor from the TVET institutions. Further, through the Business Incubator program, entrepreneurs are able to start and venture into business that will solve our local problems. This TVET program is consistent with the Kenya Kwanza government manifesto, which we call the plan, whose core pillars are agriculture, MSME economy, housing and settlement, healthcare, and digital superhighway and the creative economy. We want to give emphasis to all these pillars. There's absolutely no reason why you young people cannot get into agriculture, which is the backbone of our economy. And to do that, CAM and our partners. You know, young people like cool stuff. They like cool things. We have to make agriculture cool so that young people find agriculture cool. We must stop the imagery of agriculture being the undertaking of some elderly, tired, dispassionate, disinterested mama or baba in the village, and give agriculture the face of cool, because these guys like cool. So we are going to make agriculture cool because we want this to be a space where our young people can find interesting and exciting to populate and be part of the production there. I also have the privilege of heading a ministry that includes what we are calling the arts. It's a big space. It's a space we are relaunching in a big way. It includes music. It includes film. It includes the performing arts. It includes theater. We want to turn this space into a mega industry. And you know that big economies like the US, Germany, the UK, they reap big from this creative industry. Nigeria, a huge economy on this continent, if you don't know. The film industry today is the biggest single employer in Nigeria. Why can't we do it here with such well-educated, well-trained, very creative young people? So when you talk about the digital superhighway and the creative economy, we are about unleashing the full potential of the arts and your talents to make it beneficial to you so that you can lead a dignified life from your talent while contributing to a broader economic growth. TVETs are widely recognized as having a key role to play in tackling youth unemployment. Recent evidence suggests that TVET yields higher returns than either general secondary education or higher education, mainly because the focus is on providing work-relevant skills. We have seen countries with embedded systems of vocational training and apprenticeship, such as Austria and Germany, succeed .
Thank you, Waziri, for the government. And there's nothing to add after you have given the commitments. So I want to thank you and thank everybody else who is here, joining us physically and virtually. Let's work together. Just to repeat, if we can do it, who will? So thank you very much. And thank you, Joyce, for putting this together, and the camp team. Asante sana.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate the chief guest and the panelists for joining us this morning. And together we shall go for a photo session out there, and then led by Pankaj Bedi, do a tour of the exhibition booths to visit the manufacturers, starting with Savo Ballroom. So I'll invite Pankaj to lead the team for a photo session outside the VIP area, and then we do a tour of visiting the manufacturers, starting with Savo Ballroom on the right. Thank you.